Hey, you guys. Oh my goodness. Okay, I'm trying to fix a setting real quick. This is gonna be wild. And I can see that we are literally 50-50 on the frickin' poll. Y'all are gonna make me flip a damn coin. Y'all are gonna make me flip a coin to see which one we're gonna go for. Okay, give me just a second. Muted. My mic was muted. You guys can hear me now. Thank you so much for the 50 gifted memberships. That's amazing. I'm trying to find the comment so I can put it back on the screen. Thank you so much. Holy crap-oli. Thank you so freaking much. You guys, this is going to be wild. Text first. All right, you win, buddy. You win, buddy. We're going to do the text messages first. Thank you, MDP. I appreciate you guys being here. I was not expecting this information to come out until trial. Like, I thought that they were just going to be filing something about the text messages and the 911 call because we saw that there were documents about it, but I didn't know. I didn't know that they were going to be releasing this stuff right now. Right now. This cray-cray. Okay, now I just got off work 30 minutes ago. I have not had the time to scroll through nothing. You guys have had more time to look over stuff than I have. So we just going to go ahead and get started because a bunch of you guys have been sitting here waiting for a minute already. So let me go ahead and get everything started. We're just going to jump right freaking into this. And this is the schedule for today, guys. Because I was supposed to go live this evening. Then this happened. So what I'm going to do is we're going to go through the 911 transcript. We're going to go through the text messages. I'm going to get off live. And then I'm going to go run my errands. I got to go run to Walmart, get my blood pressure meds, cook my kids' dinner, do all those things. And then I'll be back live again so that we can continue what we've been doing when it comes to going over all of these damn documents because there's a bunch, but this is like hella important. I want to get this big enough as it'll let me so that you guys can see exactly what's happening as it's happening. Okay. I am just like shooketh. I had no clue that this was going to even be happening. This is just so wild to me. Okay. Thank you for the $10, Trippy. Thank you very much for caring about the truth and being here to listen to all this insanity. Okay, you guys. We're going to do the text messages because Chris said so. So we're going to do the text messages first. And somebody said yes, in chronological order. Correct. That would make the most sense to go through the text messages first. Now, just remember that we had heard from Christy Goncalves, which is Kaylee's mom, already that there was proof that Dylan had tried to call pretty much everyone in the house. And I think that Ethan's sister-in-law had even come out at some point and said the exact same thing. So we know for a fact that she was trying to get a hold of other people in the house. And that's why so many people believe that there is no excuse for the 8-hour delay in the 911 call. They knew exactly what was going on. They knew the severity of what was happening, and they still chose not to act. That's the issue. That's why people are so upset about the entire thing. Let's go ahead and get started with the document. This is 10 pages long. We're going to go through the whole freaking thing. If you want to jump to the text messages, the link is in the chat or the excerpt of just the text or in my community tab. But for the rest of you that want to know every word, let's get started. Comes now the state of Idaho by and through the Latell County prosecuting attorney and respectfully moves the court for an order in limine, allowing the state to admit the text messages of Dylan on November 13th of 2022 and the testimony from Dylan and Bethany regarding their conversation with each other on November 13th of 2022. The phone records were discovered on the hard drive, which was from the iPhone extraction of Dylan's phone, provided on April 5th of 2023, and State's Exhibit 18 from the grand jury attached. The testimony of Dylan and Bethany was provided to the defense as part of the grand jury record. Thank you for the $5. I very much appreciate it. Thank you so much. And a new member, Mama D. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Standard of admissibility. In general, testimony that is hearsay is excludable at trial. However, there are exceptions to the rule. Two firmly rooted exceptions are Idaho Rule of Evidence 8031, present sense impression, a statement describing or explaining an event or condition made while or immediately after the declarant perceived it. Idaho Rule of Evidence 8032, excited utterance. There's a channel called that. That's kind of cool. A statement relating to a startling event or condition made while the declarant was under the stress of excitement that it caused. The requirements of the federal version of the present sense impression, and that should have said excited, but they're missing a C. That's fine. Excited utterance are best stated in U.S. versus Mitchell. There are three principal requirements which must be met before hearsay evidence may be admitted as a present sense impression. The declarant must have personally perceived the event described. The declaration must be an explanation or description of the event rather than a narration. And 3, the declaration and the event described must be contemporaneous. The requirements for a hearsay statement to constitute an excited utterance are 1, a startling occasion. I can imagine this would freaking constitute that. Number 2, a statement relating to the circumstances of the startling occasion. And 3, a declarant who appears to have had opportunity to observe personally the events. And 4, a statement made before there has been time to reflect and fabricate, which is in the moment, real time. Both exceptions require that the declarant personally perceive the event or condition about which the statement is made. In addition, both have temporal limitations which limit admissibility. Under the present sense impression exception, the declaration must be substantially contemporaneous with the event in question, which is what I've always said about the fact that they were using their phones as the end time of the crime at being 4:25 whenever they were claiming that the suspect vehicle 1 sped off at 4:20. They're not talking about what they're going to wear to dinner the next night as the timestamp at 4:25. They're talking about something relevant to the situation at hand at the moment. The fundamental premise underlying the present tense impression exception is that substantial contemporaneity of event and statement minimizes unreliability due to the declarant's defective recollection or conscious fabrication. United States versus Green from 2008. Courts have given broader temporal limitations for excited utterances. In U.S. versus Napier, the U.S. Court of Appeals held that although in most cases the startling events which prompt spontaneous exclamations are accidents, assaults, and the like, there is no reason to restrict the exception to those situations. Victim statements, he killed me, after being shown a photograph approximately 8 weeks after attack, held admissible. And again, this is not from the Idaho case. This is from this Napier case that they're talking about. I always have to make sure that people know the difference between something ridiculous like that statement being stated when it comes to something being cited and when it comes to an actual fact, because a lot of people have issues with paying attention and get a lot of stuff wrong. So we always have to make sure that people know the difference. Following Napier, some courts have admitted excited utterances made well after the event when the declarant was suddenly subjected to rekindled excitement, because events may so deeply traumatize a person that long after stress has subsided, a chance reminder may have enormous psychological impact, causing renewed stress and excitement and educing utterances relating to the original trauma. I've been up since forever. I just got off work 30 minutes ago. I'm probably going to drink like 10 cups of coffee now. That's just probably what's going to happen. There is no requirement within the language of IRE 8031 that the declarant be excited or emotionally affected by the event or condition in order to fall within the present sense exception. And if so, then the statement can overlap with the excited utterance exception, holding that statements were admissible under present sense impression and excited utterance exceptions to the hearsay rule. Here we go. Here we're getting to things. Y'all ready? Y'all ready for the things? Okay, here we go. Dylan's phone records on November 13th of 2022 and Bethany'S testimony as to what Dylan told her should be allowed at trial. What? Bethany's testimony as to what Dylan told her. Oh, I was about to say, why is Dylan telling Bethany what should be allowed at trial? But they're saying what Dylan told Bethany should be allowed at trial. So that just gives me more clues that Bethany didn't actually see anything physically with her eyes when it comes to this situation. If the testimony is literally based off of only what Dylan said. That's how that sounds so far. So far. In the case at bar, starting on November 13th of 22 at 2:10:29, which would be 2:10 in the morning, Dylan sends a text message to EG. Now, guys, Eric Grower, do we finally have real confirmation on who the freaking driver was? Okay. We've been hearing this whole time that it was either between Eric Grower or like an older gentleman whose daughter died in a drunk driving accident. So now he drives college kids everywhere. It's been back and forth on who it could be. EG is the driver. EG is Eric Grower. Finally have some actual definitive proof on that. To inquire if he is driving, which means he must be somebody that drives everybody, because Dylan was asking if he was driving at 2 something. So that's interesting. The state submits this text message exchange is not hearsay because it will not be offered for the truth of the matter asserted, i.e. Eric Grower's, we're just going to say his freaking name, Eric Grower's driving status. Instead, it would be offered to show a timeline of the night, i.e. Dylan was awake and texting at 2:10 in the morning, which was what? 30 minutes before all the crazy ass phone calls back and forth between Kaylee and Maddie started going off on Jack's phone, right? From 4:19 to 4:21, Dylan attempts to call Bethany, Xana, Kaylee, and Maddie. All calls are unanswered. We heard that from Christy. The records of these calls are not hearsay, as they do not meet the definition of a statement. Oral assertion, written assertion, or non-verbal conduct intended as an assertion. This is the text messages. Okay, you guys ready? From 4:22 to 4:24. So in 2 minutes, this is the messages. Let me make this a little bit bigger right here for y'all. Okay. Dylan to Bethany. No one is answering. I'm really confused right now. Dylan to Kaylee. Kaylee, what's going on? Bethany to Dylan. Yeah, dude, WTF. Bethany to Dylan. Bethany to Dylan. Xana was wearing all black. This statement shook me. Because after what we found out about the freaking eyeball art and the pinned little human figures that are pinned to her freaking cork board like a bunch of little voodoo dolls with big old eyeballs and big old bushy eyebrows, this almost really sounds like she's taking little snippets of the night of things that she saw, and her brain created a person or created a thing in her brain from how it sounds. Dylan to Bethany. I'm freaking out right now. Dylan to Bethany. No, it's like ski mask almost. Bethany to Dylan. Shut the F up. Actually. Dylan to Bethany. Like he had something over his forehead and little indie mouth, which most likely just means he had something over his head and covering his mouth. She's panicking and her phone's almost dying, so her texting is all over the place. Dylan to Bethany. Bethany, I'm not kidding. I'm so freaked out. Bethany, so am I. Dylan, my phone is going to die. F. Bethany, come to my room. Run down here. All the proof that we've already known that they knew damn well something was freaking going on and nobody thought to call 911. Yeah, I agree with this statement right here that there's definitely some text message, in between. There's definitely stuff missing here. There's definitely things missing here. All right, let's make this smaller again so I can get back to reading it. Okay. And again, a snippet of that is in the community tab, and the chat here has the link to these direct documents in the public interest page. They're not sealed. You don't have to file no FOIAs. Like, it's literally public access. You click it, you can do whatever you need to do. All of the above declarations are present sense impressions and excited utterances. This is supported by Dylan's grand jury testimony, where she indicates she just witnessed a startling event, i.e., heard noises in residence and saw an unknown male in the residence. But did she? Because at this point, I don't even know if she actually physically saw anybody or not. And what made her think that whatever she saw was Xana running around in all black? That's wild too. The declarations indicate that both Bethany and Dylan are trying to make sense of the startling event contemporaneously or immediately following the startling event, meaning no time for reflection or fabrication. See Dylan's grand jury testimony attached. I mean, we don't doubt that it happened. We know it happened. 4 lives were lost. We know that it's a reality. Thank you for the 5 gifted memberships, Too Fast for Fleas, and congratulations to those of you guys who ended up getting those. That's very sweet. Thank you so much. At 4:24, Dylan calls Ethan's phone. This phone record, like the other records of calls, is not a statement pursuant to IRE 801. Dylan and Bethany continue to text. At 4:24, Dylan texts Bethany, "I'm screwed though." What the frick is that supposed to mean? Like, is she just like she's effed up, like drunk? I don't know. "I'm screwed though." And Bethany responds at 4:25, "Yeah, I know, but it's better than being alone." I don't know what that means. But it's better than being alone? Okay. Again, both statements are admissible as present tense impressions and excited utterances, as they are describing an event or their state of mind and are spontaneous reactions to that event rather than the result of reflective thought. At 4:27 a.m., Dylan calls Kaylee, and at 4:28, Dylan calls Xana. These are not statements. No, it's actions. We know that. At 4:32, so this is 12 minutes after the car has already left, apparently, Dylan sends a text message to Kaylee stating, "Please answer." This statement is a present tense impression, shows Dylan's perception of events and an excited utterance, spontaneous reaction to that event rather than the result of reflective thought. Dylan then sends these messages to Kaylee and Maddie. "Please answer. Are you up and are you up?" These text messages are not hearsay because they will not be introduced for the truth of the matter asserted. Even if deemed hearsay, they are allowable as present tense impressions as they reflect a consistency of continuation of Dylan's text messages from the night prior and reflect her then perception of what was then occurring, meaning waking up realizing that she had not heard from her roommates. But you're freaking out. You run down freaking stairs. You're tripping, you're saying you're seeing things, and you're getting no responses from anybody. You have to run down and go basically huddle up in bed with somebody else because you're too scared about what's going on, and you still just don't. I don't understand. Dummies should have called the cops. Exactly. And you know that you can make like phone calls to cops that aren't phone calls. Like you can text 911. She had access to all of her social media on her phone. Anybody ever could have literally just got on Snapchat, WhatsApp, anywhere that they had a freaking platform where they could freaking get a hold of people with a text and been like, freaking send the cops over here right now. Like it could have happened. Just that freaking easy. Just that freaking easy. At 11:39, Dylan had a text exchange with her father. I can't remember what his freaking name is, but he came out. He's like a big old muscle head. He's acting like nobody better talk about Dylan. Well, I'm going to be asking about Dylan. I'm going to stay asking about Dylan, and it's just how that's going to be for now. They had a text message exchange at 11:39, which is still 19 minutes before the 911 call from the time they were being told is 11:58, right? These statements are not hearsay as they will not be introduced for the truth of the matter asserted, but instead show a timeline of the morning. Well, I really freaking wish that we knew what the hell she talked to her father about, because I think it matters with the timing, you know. At 11:50, Dylan receives a text message from Jay stating, "Bro." Is this supposed to be Hunter J? I'm going to stop and look for a second. Is this supposed to be Hunter J? Because HJ is already in here. Hunter Johnson's already in here. But this is just says J. So I don't know who the hell Jay without both initials is supposed to be? Jack? Maybe. Jack Decor. Very possible. Yeah, maybe so. Yeah, there's a lot missing, you can tell. Very possibly Jack. Hopefully they say. Let's find out. So, but why would Jack? I guess maybe because maybe Jack was trying to get a hold of Kaylee after seeing all the missed calls or whatever. I don't know. Okay, let's just keep on going. Dylan received a text message from Jay stating, "Bro, this text message will not be introduced for the truth of the matter asserted." At 11:50, Dylan calls EA. What I'm being told by me questioning what's going on here, Brent. That's Dylan's dad's name. Brent Mortensen. You right. Okay. So EA is Emily something or other. Hunter Johnson's girlfriend. And we know from everything that we've been told over the past over 2 years now that Hunter Johnson, his girlfriend, and then both of Ethan's siblings were there. Both Hunter and Maisie were there. And we saw that in that little video snippet that we've recently been shown. Okay. So Dylan calls Emily at 11:50. The phone record is not a statement pursuant to IRE 801. Dylan receives a text message from Jay at 11:51 and a vandal alert at 1:04. So the 1:04 vandal alert must have been obviously after the 911 call. I really hope that this is like Jack D, but I don't know why they're being so secretive with just a freaking one initial. These texts are not hearsay because they will not be introduced for the truth of the matter asserted, but instead show a timeline of the morning. Okay. Dylan and Bethany's testimony. The state anticipates that both Dylan and Bethany will testify at trial. The state intends to seek each witness about statements made to them on November 13th, 2022. This testimony should be substantially replicate the testimony they provided at the grand jury proceedings. The state submits the statement from both Dylan and Bethany to each other are allowable hearsay because they are present instance impressions and or excited utterances. Previous adjudication. Judge John Judge has previously ruled that the text messages and statements of Dylan and Bethany are present sense impressions and excited utterances, holding both the text messages and the testimony of Bethany as to what Dylan told her were admissible as exceptions to the hearsay rule. And of course, it's stuff that's been sealed because it's from the grand jury and it's 20 pages. Okay. Dylan's phone records for November 13th of 2022 and Bethany's testimony. I think Jack. Yeah, I just really wish that it would show the freaking initial because what we were told is that Jack D was asleep. We need to talk about that for us that are assuming that it's Jack D, because we were told by the story that was told from Christy to Intoxicated Turkey Face that Jack was asleep until the cops showed up to King Road and his roommates saw the cops and then went there and woke him up. He jumped up, walked down to King Road, and as soon as he showed up and said that he was the ex-boyfriend or whatever, they've had him show his hands and they took him in for questioning, like pretty much instantly. So I don't know if it's Jack, if that story is true and he was asleep until the cops showed up at 11:50, still 8 minutes before the 911 call. So it might not be Jack. It might not be Jack. I guess we'll figure it out. Yeah, you know, there are 3 Jacks. You right. There are 3. They know that too. That's why they put it in there with just the one J. Ooh, them sneaky little shits. That's why they did that. Okay. Under IRE 803, present tense impressions and excited utterances are admissible, whether or not the declarant is available as a witness. Any statement okay. I don't like this statement because it almost sounds like, I mean, obviously they're going to want to present whatever they're presenting, but to say that this stuff is okay, even if someone is not a witness, is kind of like giving them a doorway to not allow them in, and they've already been trying to not come in, which is a huge issue for me, a huge freaking issue for me. Any statement found outside of the above exceptions to hearsay are non-testimonial for purposes of a Crawford analysis. Further, even if somehow deemed testimonial, the Confrontation Clause of the Sixth Amendment does not bar their admission. Finally, we reiterate that when the declarant appears for cross-examination at trial, and she better, the Confrontation Clause places no constraints at all on the use of this prior testimonial statements. It is therefore irrelevant that the reliability of some out-of-court statements cannot be replicated, even if the declarant testifies to the same matters in court. The clause does not bar admission of a statement so long as the declarant is present at trial to defend or explain it. The state submits if any of the declarations made are deemed testimonial, both Dylan and Bethany will testify at trial anyway. Damn straight. They frickin' better. Based on the above cited authority, the state respectfully requests the court's approval in limine of the admission of text messages from Dylan on November 13th and the testimony of Bethany regarding Dylan, what Dylan told her on November 13th. Is that it? They say exhibits redacted and sealed, meaning the full conversation is there, but we just get these little pieces, which is fine because crap-a-moly, bro. We found out some things. We were told a lot of lies since day one. At this point, all the families have been paid off, in my opinion. You know, Sarah, 2 for show. 1 for show. 2 for maybe. Yeah. 1 for show, 2 for maybe. Thank you for the $4.99 super sticker, Oxygenated. Thank you very muchos. This is wild. But again, like more proof. I want to know what the frick this is. I want to know what in the frick. Where'd it go? What the frick is this? What is this? I want to know if this is the only text messages between her and her dad from the time everything started to the 911 call, because something tells me it's not. So we have beyond proof that they were discussing something insanely ridiculous happening, that they were more than aware of the situation. We finally have clarification that Eric Grower was actually the driver that night, and that he's well known because this is about Dylan texting Eric, not about anybody else, about Dylan texting Eric. And it's actually kind of interesting because notice the time. What time did the girls get home? Like 1:50 something, right? 1:53, I believe is what Olivia said. 1:53, 1:54, 1:59. It was something around that time. So the point is this. Why the hell is Dylan messaging Eric Grower, the driver, if she was already home between 1:15 and 1:30, apparently wasn't leaving, unless she's asking this because she's wanting him to come and get her at 2 o'clock in the morning. But this is after Kaylee and Dylan were already dropped off. So, why? 1:56. 1:56. So this is almost 15 freaking minutes. Yeah, Bethany saying run says a lot. Dylan texting him is interesting because why are you texting him? Why are you texting him? But I mean, does this actually prove that he was the one who brought the girls home? I guess maybe it doesn't. But then again, maybe it does because maybe she. I don't know. All it proves is that they freaking were talking to each other for no reason whatsoever after she's already home, drunk off of her freaking mind, and the girls have already been dropped off. Why are you texting him? Then you're texting your dad. No one is answering. I'm really confused right now. Kaylee, what's going on? Yeah, dude, WTF. Xana is wearing all black. Xana was wearing all black. Okay, that's Bethany saying that to Dylan about Xana wearing all black. So was Xana wearing all black right before, like the last time that Bethany saw her before they like shut it down for the night? Thank you for the $10 super sticker, Lori. I very much appreciate it. Thank you so much. But that's interesting to go back and reread that, because that does say that Bethany is the one who said to Dylan that Xana was the one wearing all black. And then Dylan says, I'm freaking out right now. And she says, no, it's like a ski mask almost. And then Bethany said, shut the F up, actually. Dylan, like he had something over his head and his mouth. Dylan, Bethany, I'm not kidding. I'm so freaked out. Bethany, so am I. Dylan, my phone is going to die. F. Bethany, come to my room. Run down here. That's wild. And she calls Ethan's phone. We didn't know. Oh, wait, I guess we did know that. We've been hearing about that. What times were these? Okay, so this is from 4:22 to 4:24. And she tells her to come down there. And then at 4:24, Bethany also gets a text message from Dylan that says, I'm screwed, though. What the hell does that mean? Like, is it, I don't know if that means that, like, she just did something crazy and now she's screwed, or does it mean that she's screwed up because she's apparently on things? Yeah, I know, but it's better than being alone. And then at 10:23. So look, okay, so this is okay. See, this is even dumber. Okay. We've got 10:23 in the morning. She is messaging Kaylee and Maddie at 10:20 freaking 3 in the morning. But at what time did she text her dad? Over a freaking hour later, she texts her father. And then it says that Dylan got the text message from the J person stating bro. And then 3 seconds later, Dylan calls Emily. Look at the timestamp. 11:50:55, 11:50:58. So whoever J is sent a text to Dylan, and 3 seconds later, it prompted a call to Emily. (10:23). She was up at 10:23 then, or before 10:23. So at least from 4:32, from what they're telling us, and there's probably a bunch of shit missing. We already know, okay? But 4:23, she texts Kaylee, please answer. And then what? Passes out at that point? And then what? Still doesn't go upstairs to freaking check on Maddie and Kaylee? Maddie and Kaylee are the last ones that you're freaking trying to get a hold of on your phone, and you don't go upstairs to talk or look at them? Because how we've been told, the 911 call was made for Xana and Ethan. So at 10:23, she gets up, she starts texting him again, not getting a freaking answer, and she waits over an hour before she contacts her dad, or at least with this one text message exchange, and then still. So she was just awake and sitting in Bethany's freaking room? Exactly. Thank you for the $4.99, KP. That's what I've always said. Like, you called an outside source to come and help you get Xana's room open whenever you, at this point in time, according to everything that we've been told, have no freaking proof whatsoever that there's anything bad going on that third floor. We've been being told that this entire time, that the first responders didn't know what the hell they were walking in on, and they didn't even know that Kaylee and Maddie had been attacked upstairs until way after they got there and started asking questions. That's interesting right there. I bet she sent a picture. That's what the bro and quick call is about. Very freaking possible, because there's no context. There's no context. Unless, I mean, obviously there's stuff missing. So it's very possible that she was reaching out to somebody else, or maybe there was a group chat situation. I don't freaking know. But this is definitely insane to me, that they got all this proof that she knew exactly what the hell was going on, when it was going on, that she was awake for well over an hour and a half before she even called freaking 911. And then we go back to the latent shoe print. Even in the most innocent of circumstances, you're walking around that damn house and you're walking through something that is a bodily fluid, and tried to clean it up. I think this, if anything, this just validates to me that the latent shoe print is probably only there because they didn't freaking clean up correctly. They missed a spot. This is so annoying. It's just so annoying. Okay, you guys. Are you ready? for the 911 call. Now, I'm pretty sure that the audio itself is going to be what plays in trial. Yeah, that too. Shannon Taurus, you could smell the blood. And see, that's another reason I have issues with this whole thing, because that is 4 people who have lost gases and fluids out of multiple places of their body once they were no longer breathing, on top of what was coming out of their gaping wounds. Okay? One person, and that's horrible, after 8 hours in a house that's closed up overnight with no movement. Stagnant. 4 people, and we're hearing that the doors were wide open. That's something else that I really hope comes out at trial, because the Goncalveses have been saying in their version of what they were told that it was the back slider that was left open. But then we had that neighbor that came out originally and said that whenever they were outside, that the door to that freaking house was open at like 9 o'clock in the freaking morning. And no one's ever came out to try to debunk that either. No one has debunked that. Just wild. And see, I think the dog was going crazy. I want to know what the frick happened to Murphy, because they're trying to say that they tested, there was some sort of test that they could figure out on the camera to prove that he was actually barking outside for a half hour. But I don't know if that means that he was actually outside for the whole half hour, or if it picked him up inside, then he was put outside because some movement and stuff was happening inside the freaking house. And then once they got everything established, then they let him back inside. But let's go back real quick to this real quick and look at these timestamps, because at 4:20 is whenever the car sped away. And Anne said in court that it was like another like 30 minutes that the dog kept barking. So you're telling me that through the 4:32, when she's sending messages to Kaylee, that she doesn't hear the freaking dog barking his head off still? So even after all that, she's downstairs apparently in Bethany's room, and the dog is outside barking for another 30 minutes. I'm sorry, but that means that after 4:32, somebody had to go and bring that dog back in the freaking house. Who did it? Which one of them put the freaking dog back in the house? This is wild. This is wild. Okay. Okay, so this is the one for the 911 call. There's pretty much the same sort of information about it being excited utterance, stuff like that. I don't really feel like we need to go through all of this stuff, because it's literally just them saying the exact same thing about it not being hearsay, about it being for the same exact rules of evidence. So we do not need to go back through this exact same stuff. It's literally verbatim the exact same thing. So we're going to start, let's see. We're going to start right here on page 4. Okay. Let's see what this says. I've only skimmed through like the first page, so I have no freaking idea. This is insane. In the case at bar, most of the declarations made were present sense impressions. H.J. located the unresponsive body of Xana Kernodle and informed Bethany and Dylan to call 911. Now, see, that's a little bit different, but still makes sense if you visualize the scene. If Ethan was really behind the door, sort of blocking the door, if that part of this is true, then when he opened the door enough to see what was inside, it would have made sense that he would have seen Xana's body first, because she was across the room up against the wall, according to the PCA. And it says that the detective can see her across, basically up against the wall as they're going towards her room, meaning the door is open and they can see across the room to that wall. And we all know the wall that was dripping stuff, that wasn't dripping anything prior to the night that all this crap happened. So that still is the same story. It's just they're putting his eyes on Xana instead of Ethan, which again makes more sense. Okay. EA was present at the time. And again, that is HJ is Hunter Johnson, and EA is Emily, which is Hunter's girlfriend. And that's Hunter Johnson's girlfriend, right? Like, I never got into those names because I didn't feel like they had like she, or it was just a lot to even like look into this situation. Because if anything, this is at the very, very end, and these people were like brought into a horrible thing. But I'm pretty sure, yeah, I know that it's Emily, but this is Hunter Johnson's girlfriend, right? Not Hunter Chapin's girlfriend. I'm just looking for clarification before we continue. Yes. Hunter Johnson. Okay. So Hunter Johnson brought his girlfriend with him to King Road, and then Ethan's two siblings, because he's a triplet, were also at King Road. Okay. Okay. Emily was present at the time. All declarants personally perceived the event, i.e., Kernodle unresponsive. Unresponsive is wild to me because we were told that she fought back so hard her fingers were pretty much severed off. So there's no way that I'm going to be looking at somebody and there's red stuff everywhere, and the first thing in my brain is going to be like, oh, they're just unconscious. No, that's not how a normal person or a group of normal people would ever react to that. The majority of the declarations were describing the dispatcher, Carolina Calvin, that they were perceiving, i.e., present sense impressions. Those statements relate to Kernodle being passed out and not waking up. The declarations were made immediately after Hunter Johnson discovered Kernodle's body. That sounds like you walked into the freaking bedroom and tried to shake somebody awake and they wouldn't wake up. And that's not the situation here. So this way they're wording this is getting on my nerves, honestly, because this is almost like softening it. Softening it. It's wild. Some declarations made would also be considered excited utterances. Those statements include, oh, and they saw some man in their house last night. Yeah. As well as the heaving, breathing, and crying that can be heard throughout the call. The declarants were responding to a startling occasion, discovery of unresponsive roommate. See, that doesn't make sense, bro. The statement regarding a person being in the home is in direct response to why Kernodle might be passed out. All statements are made while the declarants are processing what is happening and were made before an opportunity to reflect and fabricate why Kernodle is unconscious. Why are they pretending like that's true? The 911 call is 8 hours after the event. That's 8 hours of time of opportunity to reflect and fabricate. Are they for real? I mean, when it comes to why do I keep wanting to call her Billin? I'm shipping them, and I shouldn't be. Bethany and Dylan, they definitely had time. Now, if they were just called over because they were called over, Emily and Hunter, then no. But no, for these two, that's not true. Not true at all. Clearly, the statements of Bethany, Dylan, Emily, and Hunter Johnson, and the dispatcher, Carolina Calvin, fall within the hearsay rule exceptions. Judge John Judge has already ruled that the 911 call is not hearsay, i.e., not offered for the truth of the matter asserted. And even if deemed hearsay, the exception for present sense impression and excited utterance apply. On August 23rd of 23, defendant moved to dismiss the grand jury indictment. One basis for that notion was that the 911 call was improperly admitted hearsay, cumulative, irrelevant, and an improper attempt to bolster witness testimony. In response, Judge John Judge held as follows. Further, even if the 911 call is hearsay, the exceptions for present sense impression and excited utterance apply as the statements made by the callers, i.e., the surviving roommates and Hunter Johnson and another friend who had arrived, were made immediately after Hunter Johnson discovered Miss Kernodle's body and instructed the roommates to call 911. That's wild that Christy told the story from Hunter Johnson's view as if he found Ethan. Like his eyes saw Ethan first, and that's not how this is telling it. The rationale justifying the present sense impression exception is that the immediacy of the statement offers no opportunity for fabrication. Finding statements made were excited utterances because victim was still under the stress of the event. sealed order denying motion to dismiss indictment. Okay, that's where that came from. It was filed on 12/15/23. Regarding the emotion in the caller's voices, Judge further held that the evidence was relevant as to why law enforcement was sent to 1122 King Road on November 13th, 2022, as opposed to just EMS when the call was for an unconscious individual. This testimony was deemed relevant to the effect it had on dispatcher Calvin and was not cumulative of Officer Nunez's testimony. Because remember, one of the other things that we tried to figure out was what the hell were they sending somebody over for an unconscious call for? There's literally blood everywhere, according to what we were told about the 2 rooms. Now, apparently, there's nothing in between the 2 crime scenes, meaning that there's nothing leading from the 2nd to the 3rd floor in way of blood or a trail that would have made them think they had to go up there. With how we're being told, we might see the body cam or the photos, and that might not be true. But if it's not true and there was blood trails and stuff everywhere, then that makes this situation even more freaking what? It makes it make even less sense. Okay. Now, what we thought is that because there were so many people on the call, and because we were being told that one of the surviving roommates passed out, somebody else got on the 911 call. We were told it was a passerby at first, not somebody that was called over there. We've been told 1,000 different stories about something that should be simple and have no problems with it. This has nothing to do with the actual crime, right? Like, it's just the discovery of the situation in the 911 call. So why all the insanity? That doesn't make any sense. But we thought it was because it was unintelligible, and there's like a protocol that within the first 10 to 15 seconds, if the dispatcher cannot figure out exactly what the hell is going on, they do an unconscious person call out to get the ball rolling, and then it changes after the fact. That's what we thought this was. But they didn't know. But they literally are calling because they're saying that Kernodle is passed out. Well, if all you're seeing at this point to call 911 after opening her door, knowing that Ethan and Xana were both found inside of her room, if all that you're calling on is Xana, where the frick was Ethan? Or did they just like jet out of there as soon as the door got open enough to see Xana to where they didn't even look behind the door to see Ethan's body? This is a lot. This is a lot. Okay. The statements made on the 911 call are admissible regardless of whether or not witnesses testify. Well, let me tell you something, Santa. They better show up. You better make them show up. This is dumb. Under IRE 803, present sense impressions and excited utterances are admissible whether or not the declarant is available as a witness. Any statement found outside of the above exceptions to hearsay are non-testimonial for purposes of a Crawford analysis. Further, even if somehow deemed testimonial, the Confrontation Clause of the Sixth Amendment does not bar their admission. And this is just case law. Conclusion, based on above cited authority, the state respectfully prays for the court's approval in limine of the admission of the recordings and transcripts of the 911 call to Whitcomb on November 13th of 2022, immediately following the discovery of Xana Kernodle unresponsive. That doesn't make any damn sense. Guys, this is aggravating the shit out of me because this doesn't make any freaking sense. This shit don't make no sense. Let's get to the damn call. Let's blow a damn gasket. Lots of blank paper. Can we get to it, please? You ready? Thank you for the $2, Sarah. Yeah, he better. This is insane. Like, my blood pressure is up. Like, I'm angry. This doesn't even make any sense. This doesn't even make any freaking sense. Okay. Now, as you can see, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, freaking 10 people. Okay. Now, what I'm going to do for my members later tonight, or maybe tomorrow morning when I have time, I'll go in and color code and highlight, and I will put pages 10 through 14 in the members only folder on the Google Drive. But right now, because I got off work 30 minutes before we went live, let's just try to get through this as best as we can without the same little things we had for the transcripts. All right. Frick, man. Here we go. 911 location of your emergency. And this is A, which is woman. It doesn't say who is who, which is so stupid because I wish they just told us the initials of the person talking. There's no way that they haven't been able to figure it out by now who's freaking talking and who's not. 911, location of your emergency. Hi, something is happening. Something happened in our house. We don't know what we have, so that must be one of them because it just said our house. What is the address of the emergency? 1122. No, don't. No, don't what? What is the rest of the address? Oh, Kings Road. Okay, and is that a house or an apartment? It's a house. Can you repeat the address to make sure that I have it right? I'll talk to you guys. We live at the right, so we're next to them. So this must be one of the people. A1 is a girl, right? A1 is a girl. So A was one of the surviving roommates, and A1 is either Emily or Maisie. Thank you for the $5, Layla. We got a lot of documents to go over. That's why. We got so many docs. Have to go through them all. I'll talk to you guys. We live at the right, so we're next to them. 911. I need someone to repeat the address for verification. Chick. The address, 1122 King Road. 911. And what's the phone number that you're calling from? She asks whoever the roommate is, what's your number? They repeat the number. She repeats the number. And they go back and forth with the number. What's the rest? Okay. 911. Okay. And tell me exactly what's going on. This is wild. Okay. One of the roommates who's passed out and she was drunk last night and she's not waking up. No, we saw. So they went to go say something about what they saw and then got cut off, I guess. Dispatch. Okay. Oh, and they saw some man in their house last night. Yeah. And then I guess the roommate gets back on the phone. Hi. And 911 says, and are you with the patient? Okay, I need someone to keep the phone. Stop passing it around. I can imagine it was getting really difficult. Can I just tell you what happened pretty much? This is one of the roommates. 911. What is going on currently? Is someone passed out right now? One of the roommates. I don't really know, but pretty much at 4 a.m. 911. Okay, I need to know what's going on right now. If someone is passed out, can you find that out? One of the roommates. Yeah, I'll come. Come on. We got to go check. But we have to. Is she passed out? She's passed out. What's wrong? And then they dispatch Moscow Law Ambulance and for unconsciousness at 1122 King Road. And then the roommate says she's not waking up. Are they not looking at her and seeing things? Like, how are they just sitting there being like, oh, she's just not waking up? But we're supposed to be believing that this freaking house was a horror movie scene where the bodies were found. This is a very odd conversation compared to what we've heard. This is really crazy, okay? She's not waking up. 70 is en route. Okay, one moment. I'm getting help started that way. Okay, maybe. Unintelligible. 1122 King Road. All ambulances respond for unconsciousness. 1122 King Road. And then this is, I guess, I copy. Unintelligible. 58, I guess that's a code that they read through. Multiple RPs, respondents, I guess, reporters are on the phone advised saying the roommate on scene is passed out and not waking up. Believe she got drunk last night and blank about a male being in the room with them. Unintelligible being around. That must be one of the cops. 911 dispatch. That one I copy about 20-year-old female unconscious trying to get further. Copy. Yeah, this says Evan, but we know damn well that that's supposed to have said Ethan. So this is where they're seeing Ethan, I guess. And that was one of the girls that said something. Okay, but then again, Evan could be another person. Evan could be somebody that we don't know about. I guess that's possible. One of the roommates. Okay. 911. Okay, and how old is she? She's 20. 20, you said? Yes, 20. Here, do you want to talk to them? Okay. This is the second roommate, I'm guessing. The second person. Let me make sure. Yeah. Oh, no. A2 is a dude. A2 is a guy. So A2 is who said, yeah, it's Evan. Okay. And now this guy is also talking. Hello. 911. Okay. I need someone to stop passing the phone around because I've talked to 4 different people. The guy. Okay. Sorry. They just gave me the phone. 911. Is she breathing? The guy. Hello? 911. Is she breathing? The guy, no. 911. Okay. And then you can hear the dispatch in the back saying that the cops and stuff are en route or whatever. And this guy says, Bethany or Dylan, I need you to talking to them, okay? I can't talk to them. I need you to talk to them. Then one of the roommates gets back on the phone. Okay, hello? 911. Okay, I've already sent the ambulance and law enforcement. Stay on the line. Okay. Is there a defibrillator available? Send someone to get it now and tell me when you have it. Units responding, RP's advising. One of the girls says something that they can't make out. Dispatch says the patient is not conscious, not breathing. Again, something that they can't make out. 911, okay, if there is a defibrillator available, send someone to get it now and tell me when you have it. They say, we don't have one. Then in the background, dispatch, unconscious, not breathing. Do you have a defibrillator? Somebody says, yep. And one of the roommates says, yes, we have one. So they had a defibrillator at King Road? 911, but are you talking to the officer? The roommate, yes. Okay, so at this point of the call, the cops are there. 911, okay, I'm going to let you go since he's there with you and can help you. Okay, thank you, bye. Okay. And then you hear the guy on the phone, the cop there say, I think we have a homicide. That's it, guys. That's it. That's it. They cut it off. That's it. I am so freaking confused. I'm so freaking confused. I am so freaking confused. Thank you for joining, Annie. Thank you for the $10. Say it louder. I appreciate it. I'm confused, guys. Something happened in our house. We don't know what. What's the phone number? One of our roommates who's passed out. She was drunk last night. She's not waking up. They saw some man in their house. That's all they keep saying. I'm sorry, but we were told that Xana fought back. There was blood dripping outside of the damn house. This is absolutely insane. I just saw a comment that I wanted to highlight. That. All the secrecy for that 911 call. For what? For what? This is wild. This is insane. Exactly. So how are they going to sit there and freaking look at Xana, knowing what we freaking know about her wounds and what we've heard about how she freaking fought back so hard, and they just think that she was drunk and freaking passed out? Does that mean that they didn't look inside the room and see blood every freaking where? This is just making everything more confusing. You guys. This makes everything more effing confusing. I'm looking to see if there's anything else about the 911 call or the text messages before I jump off of here for a little bit. Let me see what this is. This is an interesting one that I'm going to go over tonight because it has like a list of basically all the stuff that the state is submitting as evidence when it comes to a couple things. So it's going to take a while before we can actually get caught up on stuff because there's so many freaking documents. I'm confuzzled, guys. I'm confuzzled. Let me go turn my light on real quick. Hold on a second. Yeah. No mention of blood. There's that damn alarm. No mention of blood. Thank you for the $2, Sarah. Check these names with those in 4chan. Oh, look. All the stuff about the frats and the freaking stuff on 4chan, it makes more freaking sense than what they're trying to tell us about Bryan freaking Kohberger, okay? It just freaking does. It just freaking does. And, you know, we have proof that there was a couple of people, 4 people, you know, scurrying back by at a very, you know, weird time. This shit just doesn't make a lot of sense. They've told us that her fingers were almost gone, okay? They've said her fingers were almost gone. You don't get severed down to the bone with things hanging on by the tendons and no one notices? I'm angry. I'm angry. I'm angry. Legit. Oh, thank you for the $19.99. Did I see that one already? I might have. I'm just trying to make sure I don't miss anybody. So I was like so focused. Trying to read everything. Welcome, welcome, Stephanie. It's just so insane. I'm aggravated. This shit doesn't make any sense. This makes zero senso. Zero freaking senso. No talk of wounds. No talk of Ethan. Unless that's what the Evan part was and they got it wrong. $11:58. The last text message was whatever time it was. See, I have a full-on timeline that I've been really trying my damnedest to get together. Let me show y'all where I'm at with it so far. Real quick. I'm going to have to leave here in a second before my pharmacy closes. Let me add this to the stage again. See my timeline? Now I have things to put in here when it comes to Dylan's text messages and the times that things were happening. I've been trying to keep it up as much as possible. I should have started it a hell of a long time ago, but it's only maybe like 3 months old. But now I have to go in and I'll be putting all of this stuff in here now. It's just so insane. This is not what I was expecting. This is really just not at the frick all what I was expecting. I know. I know. I don't understand. You mean for it to make no sense to us? Well, and then again, her whole freaking fireman thing didn't happen until like weeks later. The fireman was not even in the first 2 interviews. Hey, Bri. Right? Like they're not even really like saying a lot. They're trying to be as like nonchalant about it as possible. But I'm sorry. Someone doesn't have so much coming out of their bodies that it's leaking outside of the freaking house that you think that she's just drunk and passed out from drinking too much the night before. Who the frick are you trying to lie to? This is not a world full of kindergartners. I'm sorry. We have brains. I am just so aggravated. A text. It was a text to her dad at 11:39, which is still almost like 19 minutes prior to the freaking 911 call. I mean, she sort of was, because you also have to remember that your phone will help you text because it has corrective or auto text or whatever. So she sort of seemed kind of screwed up. But this is insane. I'm going to be back on later. Yeah, like, I don't understand who wouldn't be mad about this right now. Hella watered. Hella freaking watered. This is so gross. Your autocorrect makes it worse. An hour is good. An hour is good. We went through these in an hour. That's good. I'll probably end up going in and clipping the pieces of me just reading the stuff, or maybe I'll do a separate video later. There's a lot of things I need to do. I was supposed to put a video out this evening before going live about Letcher County, but then this popped up, and this is the baby. So this is where we're at. I'm going to go so I can go get to the pharmacy, because obviously I'm going to need my prescription for my blood pressure, because this shit's about to give me a whole stroke. Just insane. I'll be back later. I am going to, like I said, go to the pharmacy. We're doing sushi tonight, so I've got to make sushi. It ain't going to take very long. I hopefully am on by like 8. I don't see why I wouldn't be back on by like 8 o'clock. That's like 2 hours, 8:30 at the freaking latest. And we'll do 2 hours minimum to go through more stuff. And we'll discuss this further. If you guys want to talk about this further, then we'll talk about this further too. But as you guys saw, there's a lot more documents that we need to go over. Let me just run this real quick and show you guys how much more we still need to go through. Because we've been getting a little pieces of stuff through everything, okay? We've gone through all of these right here, these motions in limine. We've gone through every single one of them. We've gone through a bunch of the documents down here. We've gone through some of the state's information, but we still have a few more to get to. We still have some more to get to. So that's what we're going to be doing. Whenever I come back, I will set a thingy whenever I get back from Walmart so that we know for sure what time I'm going to be on. But for right now, you guys go and try to relax your brains. Take a freaking breather. Holy crap, I know you're not going to. You're going to run to whoever else is talking about this right now because this is insane. I wish I could stay on longer. I really could, because we could definitely keep on talking. But I've got to go run my errands. Thank you guys for being here. Thank you for the super stickers, the super chats, the gifted memberships, the people that joined on their own. You guys are great. You guys are great. Especially since y'all are taking all of this in and paying attention to the boo-boo. Insanity. Okay. I'm going to pull up my little ending right here, and I'm going to be out of here. Please do not forget to leave a like on your way out and subscribe to the channel if you are not subscribed already. Okay. See y'all.